Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
Yo, it's your boy, the odd guy himself, Malik King Scotty.
Hi, I'm Charlie Edwards.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 137 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host Joey Coastman. I'm joined this week by Mr. Ayaz Sumra. Ayaz, how you doing?
I'm good, Joey. Yourself?
Very good, my friend, very good. Hopefully this will be a pretty quick show. There won't be too much rambling, there won't be too much talking. It will just be a little bit of discussing, the reviewing, of course, the previewing, a little bit of the news, not much going on, and then the interviews. So let's start with the reviewing, of course. We're going to start over in a place called The Star in Sydney, Australia. One fight to mention, or two fights actually on this one. The undercard, Tim Tszyu, that's the son of Kostya Tszyu. He moved to 9-0. He successfully defended his WBC Asian Boxing Council Continental Super Welterweight title. Whew. And the man in the other corner, a guy called Larry Siwu, who was 27-10. It was a TKO in round 4 for Tim Tszyu, so a great win for him. Moving up the bill in what was the main event, Jack Brubaker. His record 13-2 with one draw. It's now 14-2 with one draw. He beat over 12 rounds unanimously our very own Tyrone Nurse. Tyrone now 35-4 losses with 2 draws. Apparently that one was a little bit controversial, a little bit of a hometown kind of decision, but I have to say I didn't watch it. If anybody has, then let us know at BoxHard Podcast on Twitter. That one was actually last Thursday, also later on in the same night. You know, on Thursday over in Haiti, we had Wilkie Campfort. He moved to 25-3. He successfully defended his WBA Federatin Super Welterweight title. A unanimous decision over 11 rounds against Rodrigo Mejia. A bit of a strange one there to go 11 rounds. It's a thing that they like to do in Haiti. I've said that before. Moving over now to Tokyo, Japan. Let's start with the main event, really. Ken Shiro moved to 13-0. It was a very brilliant knockout in the second round, a KO against Ganigan Lopez, 34-8 now. So Ken Shiro successfully defended his WBC World Light Flyweight title. And on the undercard of that, Naoya Inoue, the home fighter, he moved to 16-0. He also moved up in weight for this one. He took on our very own Jamie McDonnell, 29-3 now with one draw. Jamie McDonnell had been undefeated for over 10 years going into this one, and unfortunately for all of us UK fans, he lost his WBA World Bantamweight title. The fight itself, I mean, I was very sad to see it end the way it did. Obviously, Jamie McDonnell's not a bad fighter at all. He's actually a very, 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 very good fighter. We'll be speaking to Gavin McDonnell a little bit later on in the show, actually. We will talk about that. But it just was a real shame to end the way it did. I mean, he didn't, I suppose, look very good because of the way it ended. And it was no real reflection of the great fighter he is. So unfortunately, there's a lot of guys out there that have never seen him fight before that now think he's not that good. And that's just completely wrong, to be honest. It's quite sad to read things like that online. I mean, it was over really before you knew it, Ayaz, wasn't it? 2 knockdowns in that first round. A TKO for Naoya Inoue, who we all thought was a fantastic fighter. We all said, you know, he's known as the monster. It was, like I say, his time to move up in weight, and I incorrectly predicted a Inoue points win. You and the listeners both went with the knockout. I probably thought that may happen, but I didn't really want to commit to it. But yeah, Jamie McDonnell never been stopped before, and he gets stopped here in the first round against a guy moving up in weight. No matter how you weigh things up, it's a real impressive win from Inoue. What did you make of that fight?
Well done to Inoue. Obviously, he's a brilliant fighter. We've seen him in the fight. We saw him. He come out with powers. Obviously, he hurt Jamie from the start. But you got to give credit to Jamie. I mean, he's been a champion for over 10 years, and he's been at bantamweight, and he's won. Like, he won the IBF, got stripped from the IBF, won the WBA, won that, and had it. He's been a champion for over 10 years for Britain, so he's done very good proud. I was reading his Twitter, and a lot of people that saying that he's going to move up to super bantamweight, which I think personally will be a very, very good idea. But well done to Inoue. He's in the World Boxing Super Series, which I can't wait to see. The fight I'm looking forward to seeing Inoue versus Tete in the future.
Yeah, for sure. That will be a fantastic matchup. I think that bantamweight division World Boxing Super Series, I think that the first round is going to be, like the quarterfinals. I think that's going to be quite lackluster because I think the four names, I think, who have they got? They've got Ryan Bennett, they've got Tete, so that's the... Tete's got the WBO, Emmanuel Rodriguez is in it, he's got the IBF, this guy here's got the WBA. Who am I missing out? Ryan Bennett's got the what belt has he got? He vacated one, didn't he? He vacated the IBF, so he's still got the WBA Super. And I can't think who the WBC champion is right now. Actually,
it's vacant at the moment.
Oh, it's vacant, right? So there we are. So they've got all the champions, so to speak, the top four, and those guys will all be seeded 1, 2, 3, and 4. They'll be like the first 4 seeds, so they will have to take on the guys that are just underneath that level. So I don't think the really mouth-watering fights will happen until the semi-finals, unfortunately. But it's still a fantastic thing that they've got all these champions in the tournament. That's it really, though, from Japan. Like I say, heartbreak for Jamie McDonnell. We all wanted to see him pull it off. And he was so confident in himself. Like I said it last week, he was so confident. And he was visibly really upset after the fight as well. So it's a bit harsh to say he went over there for the money. I hope he did get paid well, but he certainly showed us all that it wasn't just about the money for him. There was a lot of pride there, and he was absolutely gutted when things didn't go his way. So a real statement made there from Inoue. For any doubters, he certainly seems to be the real deal. Moving over now, though, to Poland, we're going to talk about a card that happened over here. We were supposed to have Eric Molina on the bill, but he, of course, with the failed drug test thing, he's been banned and all the rest of it, so he got pulled off of the bill. But the fights that did go ahead, Izwagbe Ogano, that's the guy that, of course, had that brilliant fight against Dominic Breazeale. He moved to 18-1. He made his opponent, Fred Cassie, retire on his store after 2 rounds. That's quite a statement there, because Fred Cassie is usually quite a tough and durable guy. Artur Spilka moved to 21 wins. He's got 3 losses. It was a unanimous decision over 10 rounds against Dominic Gwynn. Dominic Gwynn now 35-12 with 1 draw. That's it for Poland. Moving over now to Canada. David Lemieux, actually, he came in 2 pounds over the weight limit. So the 2 belts that were on the line was the WBC Francophone middleweight title and the WBC International middleweight title. He actually won the fight, David Lemieux, but the champion in the other corner, Karim Achour, 26-4 with 3 draws, loses the belts, but they are now vacant. Because Lemieux didn't make the weight, he wasn't eligible to win them. David Lemieux now 39 wins and 4 losses. It actually was a 12th round unanimous decision. Karim Achour, who had never been stopped previously, I thought he'd probably get stopped, and I thought Lemieux would look quite good, but apparently Lemieux didn't look all that at all. He wasn't able to score a knockdown, and of course he wasn't able to score a knockout. So quite interesting stuff there from Canada. That one was in Quebec City at the Centre Videotron. What else? Let's go over now to the Save Mart Arena. This is one of the final bills to mention. This was the one that happened in California. It was shown on Sky Sports. What do we have over here? Let's talk about Cal Yafai, 23-0, defended successfully his WBA World Super Flyweight title. He's now 24-0. The man in the other corner, David Carmona, 21-6 now with 5 draws. A retirement after 7 rounds. David Carmona didn't want to come out for round 8. Carmona was down in round 1. He was down twice, I believe, in round 4. He was down in round 5 as well. Carmona was cut on the forehead because of an accidental headbutt in round 5. Yafai was deducted a point for hitting Carmona while he was down. Carmona also missed the weight, so he wasn't eligible to win the title. Of course, that's no fault of Cal Yafai's. He moved to 24-0. It was a good fight, to be honest. They came out, both men, in the first round, all guns blazing. Yafai was able to drop Carmona with a left hand to the temple. It didn't look that powerful, but it shook Carmona's senses up. And when Carmona got back up, Yafai desperately looked to try and finish him early, but he ended up walking on to 2 big shots himself, and he was rocked, and it led him to needing to hold on. And Yafai, for the first time, I've really kind of sat down and watched him properly. He's got an excellent jab. I mean, he probably doesn't get the full credit for how snappy and precise his jab is. I felt that in the second round, Cal Yafai wasn't so gung-ho. He was kind of, getting his smart stuff together, really. He landed a nice variety of shots. Carmona didn't really do much in that second round. In round 3, once again, Yafai was showcasing fantastic ring IQ. He was systematically breaking his man down. Cal's got a great jab, he's got great footwork, he's got great power, he's got speed, he's a smart fighter. I don't really spot a weakness in Cal Yafai just yet. I felt that in round 4, Cal Yafai landed a low blow and the opponent took a knee, but the referee actually called it a knockdown and began counting. That was a little bit harsh. In round 5, Carmona was down twice. Like I say, the first time was caused by a 3-punch straight shot combination. The second was by a body shot, but Yafai hit Carmona on his shoulder while he was down, totally accidentally, and that was when the referee took a point off Yafai. It made it quite a difficult round to score there, because the referee kind of stopped it and took a point off of Yafai for hitting Carmona while he was down, but also said that the knockdown would still stand. It was quite bizarre. For the next couple of rounds after that, Cal really just continued to win the rounds. He wasn't too dominant, but he was just cruising it, really. The pace slowed down a little bit, and then Carmona's corner decided to pull their man out. Like I say, in between rounds, he retired on his store after 7 rounds and didn't come out for round 8. I think his corner just decided to save him for another day, really. It wasn't that he was really taking a massive beating, but I felt Cal Yafai did really well there, and, like I say, systematically breaking him down, and in the end, I felt that Carmona did take quite a lot of punishment, and it wasn't just like all headshots, it was to the head and to the body and everywhere else, to the nuts in some points. So a great win there for Cal Yafai, and I really feel like he's improving all the time, to be honest. Moving over now to the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino in Mississippi, USA. One fight to mention, actually, this is the last fight of the reviewing. J. Leon Love, big friend of the show, he moved to 24-1 with 1 draw. It was a unanimous decision over 10 rounds against Jamie Barboza. Jamie Barboza 19-14, a former opponent of Spike O'Sullivan. All the very best, of course, to J. Leon Love. And that's really it for the reviewing. Just before we wrap up part 1, of course, we've tried to go through it as quick as possible. The last thing to do is to welcome our very first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WBO European and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Anthony Yarde. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Lions in the camp.
Lions in the camp.
How you been?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad. How about you?
Yeah, good, man. Just ticking over. I'm getting ready for the next fight, June 23rd.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. Obviously, we haven't spoke for quite a while, to be honest. It was back in December. We haven't even spoke in 2018. It was just before your fight against Nicolas Svetloka. Of course, that fight ended up being a brilliant win. You became the first man to ever stop the guy. It was a 4th round TKO. I just really want to get a word from you on that fight, Anthony. I know it was quite a while ago now, but would you identify that fight as your best performance in a boxing ring thus far?
Well, with the caliber of opponent, I have to say, yeah. He was a tough guy. He was very proud. He had never been knocked out before, and yeah, he came to win. So I would say that was my best performance so far. In terms of how I dealt with the guy coming to fight back. I thought I had him hurt in I think it was the 2nd round or 3rd round, but again he hit down and carried on fighting. So. I had to actually go into a different locker to get the 4th round knockout.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic win. I was obviously there for that one. And after that fight, you took on Tony Avalant. That one was in February of this year. Another fight I was sat ringside for. Now, in that fight, I think some people felt that you'd underperformed because obviously this guy took you to round 7. Previously, you hadn't been past 4. Obviously, we know that styles make fights, and obviously Avalant, he'd only been stopped once in his career, I think, or at least in recent years. That was against Bramer back in 2013. How did you assess your performance in that one? It was quite difficult because he showed us he's very good when he gets on the bicycle.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard mixed opinions about that fight. I've heard a lot of people say, it was because in that fight, genuinely, I didn't rush. I just took my time. I wasn't looking for no knockout punches. I was looking for one shot too much, but I wasn't looking for knockout punches. I wasn't just going in there throwing bombs. So a lot of people were saying to me, it's good to get a couple of rounds under the belt. And I stayed composed. Even after the 5th, 6th round, I still looked composed, and I looked like my engine was still ticking. It didn't look like I was getting tired or frustrated or nothing like that. So that's the positives I took away from the performance. Yes, at one point in time, I did realise that I was looking for a certain shot too much. I should have just carried on boxing and, had more fun. But, as I said before, when you only had 12 amateur fights, as good as I think I am and as hard as I train, I've still got a lot to learn in a boxing ring. Different scenarios, different opponents, different styles. And that's why I'm happy with the team I've got around me, and they understand that I'm a very ambitious person. I think I've just got that mentality that I can beat anyone. If they put it in front of me, I've got 6 weeks to train for them. I'm beating anyone. But again, that's the reason you've got a team behind you, and you've got experienced people that actually know the game. So someone that's only had 12 amateur fights, and again, even in my amateur fights, they didn't go the distance. And again, my professional fights haven't been going the distance. So I'm learning on the job. Some fights have been shorter than others, but I'm one of the people that's on progression. I'm always learning.
You just said there about your amateur career. Just quickly, because you're putting me on the spot a little bit here. Let me say this right. 11 KOs and the one controversial loss. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, it's up in the head, my friend. I don't have to go on Wikipedia for you. This fight there, like I say, against Avalan, he was running a lot, I have to say that. Was he frustrating you at all in there? And also, did you prove something to yourself that you can go past, or go up to 7 rounds? I know that you do many more rounds than that in the gym, pretty much without a break. But did you prove to the fans at all that you can still have the engine late on?
I wasn't really focused on that. I was more focused on what I was doing in the ring, how I was dealing with certain situations. Avalon, he just kept me on my toes. Some opponents, every so often they'll have an outburst, and he had outbursts. And, I got comfortable with him not throwing back. And, again, I let my guard down for a bit. He caught me with a little right hand. I didn't really feel it. There was no power in it. But, again, that's something I need to look out for, to stay switched on. And, again, that only comes with... for some people, it never comes with experience, but for me, it's going to come with experience. I'm one of the people that I'm vigilant, and I pay attention to what I'm doing in the ring. So I feel like each fight, I feel like I'm getting better. If I fought a Tony Avalon in my second fight, would I have performed as well? I never know. So I feel like I'm getting better each fight, and I'm taking on the experiences better than I would have a few fights ago.
Yeah, very well said, very well said. And of course, now you're ranked number 2 with the WBO. I'm sure that you're over the moon with that. Some people, of course, as always, have got mixed opinions on that as well. I want to ask you, Anthony, out of the contenders, not the champions, out of all the guys that currently don't hold a belt like yourself, a world title belt I'm talking about. Do you recognise yourself as the second best of all the all the world level contenders? Do you recognise yourself as number 2?
For what I've done so far, I can't say, because this is from BoxRec. We're talking me being number 2, and also with the WBO, I'm ranked as number 2. I feel like the way they do their scoring system is the opponents you fight and how you deal with them opponents. So if I go by my ambition and what I think I am, I would say yes, but in terms of have I proven it yet, I would say no. There's people out there that have had bigger fights than me, but they're how they've won the fight hasn't been as impressive, or they haven't knocked out the opponent, they've been hit more. So again, when I feel like these sanctions, they do things by a scoring system. So I can only be appreciative of where I'm at right now, with the limited experience I've had and how I've been dealing with my opponent. So again, someone like Phil Crocker, he fought multiple world champions, and the only people he did lose to were world champions. He went 25-0 before he took a loss. And this is something that I found out after the fight. I knew he had never been knocked out before. That's all I knew. But after the fight, I found out that the only people that he lost to was world champions, and he went 25-0 before he took a loss. So again, and within all the world champions, he thought he never got knocked out. So for me to stop him in the 4th round, I thought that boosted my ratings a lot. the guy I won the WBO European belt off of, Barani, he had lost one fight, but not by knockout. And again, he had some knockouts in his record, and he had dealt with the person he did lose to. It was a close fight. It was a controversial loss. And I knocked him out first round. So again, I thought like, this is what boosts your rankings high sometimes. Sometimes people think, oh, he's only had this many fights or whatever. Lomachenko has I think 12 professional fights. Although he had almost 400 amateur fights, which is where he gets his experience from. As a professional, I think he was ranked like number 2 after his like full fight. And that's because who he was fighting, how he was dealing with them. So I ain't going to take any credit away from myself. I'll say that wherever I'm at, I said this in my interviews 2 years ago, wherever I am, someone said to me at the end of 2016, where do you expect to be at the end of 2017? I said, I'll be wherever I'm meant to be. Wherever I deserve to be, that's where I'll be. And at the end of 2017, whatever ranking I had, that's where I deserve to be. That's where I am. And mid-2018, wherever I am now, I'm ranked number 2, so this is where I deserve to be, and this is where I'm at.
I remember after the fight when you stopped Svetloka, I remember Tunde after the fight, you just walking back to the dressing room. I love seeing his face when he's so happy after a win. And I remember him shouting, "Now they can't say nothing." It was wicked. It was wicked. Now, of course, you'll be boxing once. You'll be boxing once again on Billy Joe's undercard. Obviously, that was supposed to happen in April. It's been rescheduled for June 23rd at the O2 Arena once again. No opponent at the moment for you. Is that likely to change in the coming weeks or soon? And have you got anyone in the picture at the moment?
I think there's an opponent there. We're just waiting for the contract to come back so we can actually announce it. I feel that Tunde was saying to me today that again he almost got led into the temptations, if you want to call it that. And he started listening. And again, he reminded himself that this ain't no kamikaze. It's a career. He wants to have at least a 10-year boxing career. I'm 3 years in right now, and he realized that I haven't fought a southpaw yet. So he's saying that he's gonna be looking for a southpaw out there, creditable enough for myself, and hopefully we can get a southpaw in there to mix it with.
Yeah, that will be brilliant. Of course, learning against a guy who's a southpaw at this stage of your career could be brilliant stuff. Actually, we haven't spoken since O'Hara Davies joined your promotional stable. He's now with Frank Warren. Is that something that you're pleased with? I know that you guys go quite a way back.
Oh yeah, man, definitely, man. I'm one of the people. Anyone that's succeeding or anyone that's doing well or better in life than they was doing before, I'm happy. Regardless, even if I don't know them. I just like to see people do good. And with Davis as well, he hasn't had a easy upbringing. At times he's talked his way into things. At times he's worked his way into things. So whatever's happening that's good for Davis, I'm always happy. Even when I get a chance to sit down and talk with him, and we have our little our memory talks and our motivation talks, and we look into the future and we look back in the past and compare things and all things like that. I always just say to him, stay focused. No matter what you're doing, all the things that you're doing that's working, keep doing it. I don't care what it is, keep doing it. And anything that's not working, throw it to the side and just stay focused. That's the main thing. And get the wins. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, is getting the wins and also being true to yourself. So I just believe in having fun, working hard and enjoying your life. There's so many people out there that are critics. There's negative people out there. And again, you can't feed them people. You need to look at all the positives that are being said about you, all the positives that you're noticing that you're doing in your life, and again, just keep trying to be an inspiration to people around you and keep trying to motivate people.
Every single time we do an interview, you always drop some life lessons in there, don't you?
You know what? Because today, literally, when I was training today, I was talking to a young boy, literally whilst I was training, and he was like, "Oh, you're sick, man." He goes, "How did you get so good?" And how many? And he kept asking me a lot of questions, and I said, the questions he was asking that I was telling him to stop asking was, how do I be that Q? How do I get power that Q? Everything was to do with me. And I said, what you need to do is focus on yourself. How are you going to get better? Not as good as somebody else, but how are you going to get better within yourself? I said, once you learn how to get better doing one thing, you're going to continue learning how to get better doing other things. Because once you look inside yourself and say to yourself, how can I get better at doing this? You're going to start to find other avenues of how to get better at doing other things. Even if it's just boxing, it could be like, how do I get better at doing a left hook? How can I get better power? So you might notice something within yourself that even if it's 2% better within the space of 5 months, that's 2% better. So if you keep working on that, then sooner or later it's going to be 10% better. So I say always focus on yourself and push yourself to your own abilities and see what you come up with. Because with me personally, sorry to be blabbing on, but this is kind of stuff I'm passionate about. If I was, in the beginning of my boxing career, if I keep on saying to myself, I want to get as strong as, let's say, I'm trying to think of somebody that's my weight class. If I said I wanted to get as strong as Hall, Richard Hall, the one that fought Roy Jones Jr., then I will only, in my mind, I will only ever get as strong as Hall. I will never surpass him. So if I've been blessed a certain way and I've got unseen power, I could limit myself by me focusing on another man. If I say to myself, I want the best Anthony Yarde, then you might surprise yourself and surpass every other person before you. So that's the kind of mentality I got. I always focus on myself. I'm always trying to push myself to my own limits and try and better myself.
Yeah, for sure. Brilliant words there, man. Brilliant words. I hope that the people take that in. And coming down to the last couple questions. Of course, Frank Buglioni, a man that you were heavily linked with for quite a while, he shockingly got demolished really by Callum Johnson in the first round. Straight after it happened, you put out a very classy tweet saying that you'd never celebrate somebody's loss in a boxing ring. A good show of sportsmanship there from you. Is that a fight that you're respectfully no longer interested in? And if so, is Callum Johnson a man that's on your shortlist at the moment?
I'll touch on each thing you said. As I said to you before, again, I'm a genuine person. And although boxing is an entertaining sport, I believe there's time for entertainment. So if you notice, for me, at the beginning of my career to now, I've never called out anybody's name because I don't feel the need to.
True.
I'm confident in myself and what I'm doing. And I know how boxing is. You can call someone's name out until the cows come home. It might not ever happen. So I'm the kind of person, when I get to the world level and then big facts start making sense, then yeah, you might start calling certain names or you might start doing certain things. But at this stage of my career, I'm in learning stages. Other people that are desperate or not confident in themselves are going to be called out. So I see it as this. The more people that call me out, the better I'm doing. Because no one's calling out a bum. No one's calling out a guy that ain't doing nothing with his life. So I'll pay attention to these things. And from the beginning of my career, I've always been focused on myself. From the beginning. So when people were tweeting me saying, ha, Buglioni got smashed, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, that's not funny because it's boxing. It's not funny that a man got beat. You know, he has to feed his family. He's doing this for a reason. So I'm not celebrating somebody's loss. I'm only celebrating victory. So Callum Johnson, I said, congratulations to him. He's now bettered his life. I think he had time with his dad, so he was in tears after the fight. To me, I like that kind of stuff. That's a success story. Again, with myself, I never mentioned anyone that I beat saying, ha, look, I beat you. I'm saying, look, I'm proud of myself. I've achieved even more. I'm only happy with people's successes, not people's defeats, because defeat ain't nice in life, especially if you don't go with it well. So when Buglioni did lose, I did put out a tweet. People were tweeting me saying, oh, he got smashed, blah, 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 blah. I said, I'm not celebrating anyone's defeats. Only success stories. I'm not in this negativity. I don't deal with negativity. And yeah, with myself, the Buglioni fight right now, again, he's lost. Since he's been beat, this is what I mean about boxing. He's been beat, his name is off the radar. No one was talking about Callum Johnson before he beat him. So that's what I'm talking about. Boxing's like it's like roulette. Boxing is very much like roulette. So again, that's why, people might start to understand that. This is why I'm focused on myself. In the beginning, or not in the beginning, but a couple fights ago, people were talking about me fighting Nathan Cleverly, who was a world champion. He got beat by Baddy Jack, and then he retired. So again, if I was there focusing myself on him, then I'll be stuck because he retired. What am I going to do? This is why I only focus on myself. And when the opportunities present themselves and the time comes, this is why the slogan stays, everything is timing, you will see the big fights. You will see all these major fights, the big Wembley Stadium fights, the hopefully Las Vegas fights, truck going around the world. These things will happen, but everything's timing.
And just to reiterate what you said there, yeah, Callum Johnson, just to clear that one up, he, before his father passed away, his father said to him that you are good enough to win a British title, and he never really believed him, and he kind of won it for him. So It was a nice story. The final question for you, Anthony, it's now been officially announced that we're all happy about it, I'm sure. George Groves has now been medically cleared to fight Callum Smith in the final of the super middleweight World Boxing Super Series. Who wins that fight and how, in your opinion?
Oh, again, you just told me that. So again, that's for me. That's another success. He beat Eubank Jr. So of course he deserves to be in the final. I heard he hurt his shoulder or something like that. So they were saying that there's rumours that he might not be able to continue, which would have been sad for him. You know, Groves has had an up and down career. So it's good that he's gone into the final and he's got another big opportunity ahead of him. Who wins that fight is the better man than that. And that's literally, it's just like when Selby fought Warrington. Warrington was 100% the better man than that. On another day, the outcome might be different, but on that night, it was Warrington's night. So I feel like it's the same kind of thing with the Smith-Groves fight. Smith is very tall and rangy. Depending on the fight that he fights, he could come out victorious. If George Groves gets his tactics right on the night, he could come out victorious. So I feel like it's one of the fights that you will only know how it's going to plan out when you actually tune in and watch.
Yeah, very much a 50-50. And just before I let you go, Anthony, anything that you want to say at all?
Oh, just as always, lions in the camp. Anyone that's supporting, not behind me, not a fan, but anyone that's supporting, it's always love. Just like yourself, you've been there from the beginning, giving me interviews. When you first started up your channel, you've been giving me interviews and things like that. So again, I'm always appreciative. And yeah, man, the only way is up. Stay motivated, keep working hard, keep progressing.
Well said, my man. And just before I say a nice message to let you go, we can't go through the interview without saying we don't get weak.
We get deep. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now.
Oh, really? I got my one in the other room. I got my one in the other room.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Right, listen, Anthony, it's always a pleasure, my brother. Thank you for your time. Best of luck for June 23rd. I'll be sat there ringside cheering you on. We'll catch up after.
You know what it is. Showtime.
Okay, now it's time for part 2 on this week's show. This part, of course, the news part. Ayaz, I know not much has really gone on, but what do you have for us? Because the one thing you do have is major.
Right, there's only one news to say. Obviously, George Groves will actually face Callum Smith, and it's going to happen in the late summer. That's all the news.
Yeah, that's supposed to be late August/September. It, of course, was the right thing to do, really, wasn't it, Ayaz? I don't think that anybody was happy that there was a possibility that Chris Eubank Jr. could have even, shoehorned his way into the final. That would have been unbelievable. It would have really been quite distasteful, and it would have been a real bad way and a really anticlimactic way to end what has been a very, very good tournament. Yeah, so we're happy at the end of the day, aren't we, really, Ayaz, that fight's going ahead. It'll be much more interesting, I feel, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that fight, and I actually can't wait for that fight.
We will talk about it more close to the time. That's it for the news then. So let's move over now to tomorrow night. This will be Friday the 1st of June. One fight to mention at the Melbourne Pavilion in Flemington, Victoria, Australia. A guy on this bill, Blake Caparello, that's a man that, of course, put Sergei Kovalev down once upon a time, but then ended up getting stopped. So yeah, former opponent of Kovalev, Blake Caparello, 26-3 with 1 draw. He takes on Trent Broadhurst, 20-2. That's the guy that got knocked out in the first round against Dimitri Bivol in Monaco on one of Eddie Hearn's shows. So 2 former opponents of current world title holders at light heavyweight. They're facing off over 10 rounds. Trent Broadhurst, his record 20-2. Should be quite a good fight, that one, by the way. Moving over now to Hungary, though. Prince Patel, 14-0 with 1 draw. He's in a 6-rounder against Jabba Memishishi. That's how it's said, I think. His record 7-5. His name's Jabba. I doubt he'll be landing any jabs, to be completely honest. Prince Patel probably going to win that one quite easily, just building his record up in Hungary. Krzysztof Włodarczyk, he of course exited the Cruiserweight World Boxing Super Series tournament when he got stopped early in, I think it was a semi-final now. I could be wrong, it might have been the quarterfinal. He's in a 10-round contest against Olan Rawaju Duradola, who's 27-5. I'm expecting Waladzik to do a job here, and I think I'm probably saying his name really wrong, but it is what it is. That's a 10-rounder there. His record 54-4 with 1 draw. And actually, I almost forgot, moving over now to Wednesday the 6th of June 2018. This is actually next Wednesday, of course. By the time the show goes out, it'll be on Thursday, so that fight would have finished. So we will talk about that bill on the reviewing part of next week's show. But we're going to start with the main event here. Lawrence Okolie, 8-0 with 6 knockouts, takes on Luke the Duke Watkins, a man that was on our show a couple weeks back, 13-0. It's for the Commonwealth Cruiserweight title, which belongs to Watkins, and the WBA Continental Cruiserweight title, which belongs to Lawrence Okolie. This fight, of course, will be a 12-round contest. We haven't had a chance to put a poll up on Twitter just yet, but after this show goes out, I'm going to put a poll up, or maybe before the show goes out, actually, in a moment. I'm going to put the poll up on Twitter, and by next week's show, when we're reviewing it, we will have the poll results, and we can work out. We're going to make sure that the voting doesn't go on all the way to the fight, so people can be cheating. We're going to make sure it's only a poll that lasts for about 2 or 3 days, and we're going to get all of your votes, and we will see where we go with that. So a brilliant fight there, Luke the Duke Watkins, Ayaz against Lawrence Okolie. We're going to have to go to the predictions early on this one, though. We're going to of course gather the listeners' opinion afterwards. But what is our opinion here, or mine and yours? We don't do it together, of course. Lawrence Okolie and Luke the Duke Watkins. How do we see this fight playing out?
I think it's a very good fight. Obviously, we know Luke the Duke Watkins getting trained by Paddy Fitzpatrick. Obviously, I think it's a very good fight. But if I'm going to go with a win, I'm going to go with Lawrence Okolie on points.
Lawrence Okolie on points, right? I'm going to go with. It's tough. It's so tough because it's a fight where I think Luke Watkins is a slow starter, even though he said that he's not. And I like Luke the Duke Watkins. Just for the record, I do want to say I want him to win. He's been on the show. He's a friend of the show. I want Luke the Duke to win the fight. But he is the underdog. I have to side with Okolie. And purely because you're going with Okolie on points, which I think probably will happen, I'm going to go with Okolie for the stoppage. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like Luke the Duke to win that fight, to be honest. I've got nothing against Okolie. I'm a big fan of his as well. Certainly after beating Isaac Chamberlain, he's really gone up in my estimations, to be honest. So I really like him, and I just hope it's a brilliant fight. What a brilliant card to bring to York Hall, by the way. On the undercard, Reece Bellotti 12-0 takes on Ryan Doyle 16-2. This one's for the Commonwealth featherweight title. Ryan Doyle also has a draw, by the way. Ayaz, let's go to the predictions on this as well. Bellotti against Doyle. How do you see that fight playing out? Of course, Bellotti the big favourite.
I'm going to go with Bellotti by knockout.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. A lot of people think that fight's going to be quite close. Some of those guys that are deeply involved in boxing, they believe it's going to be like fight of the year contender. I've heard from 1 or 2 people. I'm not quite sure. I may look a complete idiot next week, though. I'm expecting Reece Bellotti to win that quite well. Also on the bill, a brilliant fight for the WBA International Super Welterweight title. The champion, Ted Cheeseman, 13-0. He takes on Paulie Upton, 15-0. That's a 10-rounder there. What a brilliant fight that is. A real 50-50. Also, Daniyar Yulusinov comes to York Hall, the Olympic gold medalist, a man that has got wins over people like Josh Kelly and others. His record, of course, 1-0. He's in his second pro contest. It's a 6-round contest. His opponent yet to be announced. Felix Cash 8-0. He's on the bill as well. Craig Richards 11-1. Sean McGoldrick 5-0. Danny Dignam 5-0, and Louis Lin 1-0. All those guys there, all fighting on the bill. All their opponents at this stage are yet to be announced, but it does look like it's going to be quite a good card. It's on a Wednesday night, so it may be a little bit inconvenient for some, but for me, I will be watching that one. And of course, like I say, on the Thursday when we bring you next week's podcast, we will be reviewing this card pretty much straight away. So that'll be the first thing that we talk about. But that's really it for the previewing. We've tried to go through everything today very quick. We've done the reviewing. We brought you the first guest. We brought you the news. We've just done the previewing. And the final thing, just before we wrap up part 2 and end the show ultimately, is to welcome our second and final guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBC World Title Challenger, Mr. Gavin McDonnell. Gavin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, pal.
Hey, it's always my pleasure, my friend. So, Gavin, of course, you're freshly back home from Japan. Heartbreak for your twin brother, Jamie, losing his world title in the first round to Inoue. What was it all like, really, from your perspective? Sorry to kind of start on a downer, so to speak.
We're back now, do you know what I mean? Like, it took a gamble going to Japan. It's no easy, do you know what I mean? No easy task at best of times. And he wanted one last challenge. And he went over there to try and take a pound for pound, do you know what I mean? And take that spot. And I think it was just that one fight too many, I think. He looked and felt $1 million. And obviously, it didn't turn out the way we wanted, and it just got took out in first round. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame, really, because we know deep down it's not Jamie McDonnell at his best, and do you know what I mean? It's one of them. They'll move up a weight, maybe 2 weights, and campaign to become a two-weight world champion.
And I want to ask you this, because I remember speaking to Jamie a few weeks before the fight, and he said that it was actually you who said to him, like, he's bloody good, this Inoue, bruv, he's really good.
Yeah.
And he at that point hadn't really heard of him. Were you shocked at all by his performance, or was it like, I don't want to say we expected that, of course we didn't, but were you shocked by Inoue, or did the fight not really last long enough to really see the best of both guys?
I mean, I knew he was good. I know this kid was good, but I also know how good my brother is, and I mean, we're not ones about beating around, you know what I mean, and saying this and that about excuses and whatnot. The best Jamie McDonnell would have given him a hell of a fight, and 1,000,000% it would never have got stopped. Do you know what I mean? He took the risk. He went over there, he took the risk, and it happened. Do you know what I mean? He got beat and got stopped. Do you know what I mean? By a very good champion.
Yeah.
One of those sort of things. He took the risk, went there, took the risk, and got beat. And all that matters is his safe and well. Do you know what I mean? Boxing's about taking risks. Them who don't take risks never achieve. Do you know what I mean? And we take risks, you know what I mean? Take the risk, big risk comes reward, and obviously this time round he took the risk, and there were no reward there, do you know what I mean? But I'm still proud of him, do you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people who are, and I can see him being a formidable force up at super bantamweight, maybe even featherweight. Depending what options come his way. I think you'll see a lot better Jamie McDonnell than you have for the last 18 months. A lot stronger. I think him making that weight just sort of took a little bit of shine from him. You know what I mean? I'm glad he's moving up in weight. You know what I mean? And I think he's still got big fights left in him, and big performances and big nights. And just hopefully he can get the fights and get them nailed.
And obviously the emotion hit Jamie as soon as the fight had ended. It was very sad actually to see how upset he truly was. You know, you said you're proud of him. I'm very proud of him. I'm sure the rest of the UK fans, and they have been. They've been sending many tweets over all platforms of social media. Really, he definitely. Gave it his all. He now, like you said, undoubtedly needs to and will move up in weight. I didn't know that there was a possibility that he could go up as far as feather. I thought it was probably going to be super bantam, but of course you know more than me. Is it looking like... I mean, where would he be best at, in your opinion?
It depends what options... Well, it depends what fights get put to him. I mean, he'd fight anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of fighters would. Depends what fights are, what motivates him. He can arcade like a lot of fighters at that level. A few pound here and there at a weight. Do you know what I mean? Weight don't win fights. Do you know what I mean? Your ability doesn't. As long as you're strong at the weight, you can obviously campaign, and the fights are there, and get presented to him. I'm sure he'd take them. So either, I mean, super bantamweight or featherweight, depending what comes and what options they are. I mean, I know he's eager to become 2-weight world champion. You know what I mean? So he's just one of them. He's just still fresh off at loss. I mean, he'll have a few weeks to enjoy himself, because I mean, he put himself through hell in training camp there. People don't see what goes off, and I mean, he nailed everything. I mean, in the training and in the diet, couldn't have asked no more of him. He looked and felt $1 million up until obviously weighing day. He looked and felt $1 million, and he just wanted them fight too many. So I'm sure going up in weight, you'll see a different animal. Do you know what I mean? And he's in good spirits as well about it. Like how he's talking and that he really wants to make a statement. And do you know what I mean? There's still life in the old dog, to say.
Yeah, he's. I mean, there's so many amazing fights, particularly at featherweight, for him down the line. So, yeah, all the best to him. And of course, talking about yourself now, you're involved in a big fight in a couple of weeks' time, an all-British affair. You will take on the former world champion Stuart Hall on June 16th. You'll be defending your WBC international title. Back-to-back hard fights for you now. Both of those fights have been British battles. Exactly what the fans like to see, Gavin. You're providing that. Yeah,
this is what I want, mate. You know what I mean? This is what a lot of fighters want, not just myself, but this is what we want. You know what I mean? We want to be active, we want to be in big fights, relevant fights, fights will get people talking, fights where there's risk. Do you know what I mean? There's no needle with me and Stewie, but he wants that revenge. I've got a point to prove. Do you know what I mean? The fight makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go toe to toe, and I just can't wait. Do you know what I mean? I've got a bit of momentum with me now. After my world title loss, I did have a bit of heartache, a bit of a downer of a year, and now it seems to have picked back up and really got the bit between my teeth. And these are the fights what I want. Do you know what I mean? We were in a heartbeat. Name got mentioned. Yeah, no problem. These are fights, especially all domestic fights, that little bit more point to prove. Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to be beat by a fighter, full stop, but by a British fighter. Do you know what I mean? So it'd make for a great fight. I'm just looking forward to it. Do you know what I mean? And Newcastle, we've not ticked that box yet as a team back. Plenty of arenas around, you know what I mean, and the big shows, but not Newcastle. So I'm glad to be part of I think, one of the first big shows there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, play my part and give the Newcastle fans, do you know what I mean, a great night of boxing, because I know that it's been coming for a long time. They've got Ritson and Kelly now where they can lead way, and then with a couple of good fights on the card. Myself included, my fight. I mean, it just makes for a great night up Newcastle, which a lot of people like Newcastle to go out partying or whatever they do. Do you know what I mean? So throw a night of boxing in, and everybody's happy, I say.
Everybody will be happy. Everybody will be happy. Now, what do we know about Stuart Hall? Obviously, you know, he lost to your brother about, I think it was almost 7 years back now, in what was a pretty close fight on the scorecards at the time. He's also coming to the end of his career, so to speak, but he's still as tough as nails. In my opinion, this fight will be, I think it will definitely go 12 rounds, and I think, like you say, there'll be parts in it where you'll be standing toe-to-toe, but I think it could potentially be quite a grueling fight for both.
I think it'll be a good fight. I mean, I don't want it to go 12. I mean, I want to make a point. I mean, a statement. But Stewie's there. I mean, he's game. Do you know what I mean? He's proven. Do you know what I mean? So it will be a tough passport. Don't get me wrong. I'll be trying. Same as he'll be trying with me. Do you know what I mean? To knock me out. So I think that's what makes for a good fight. I don't look at numbers or statistics or whatever. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them. He's a fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. I'm coming off back of my win against a young hungry champion in your fight. I think you got to favour me. Do you know what I mean? Going into the fight with a bit between my teeth, point to prove. I've got to pull team back on track now with a good win, and that's what I'm going to do.
And the most recent kind of big news, I suppose, in the super bantamweight division, Isaac Dogbo's become the newest champion. He was able to beat Jesse Magdaleno. You've still got the WBC's Ray Vargas, your former foe. The IBF champion is, I think I may say this name wrong, but Ryosuke Iwasa, I think it's said. He would appear to be the most beatable of the champions. Now, I know that the plan with you was to try and get another world title shot by the end of 2018. Are things still running that way? Are things still moving smoothly?
Yeah, and any world champion, you know what I mean? I just think the last world title fight, like looking back now, might have come just slightly too soon. I'm a different fighter now, do you know what I mean? Mentally, physically. I genuinely believe on my day I can beat any of them champions. And whoever they can, whoever wants, do you know what I mean? Whoever they can get, I'll happily take. If not, I'll work my way into a mandatory position. I'm not too far off with a couple of governing bodies. But that new champion WBO, I mean, they're all good fighters and whatnot, but he's got a decent record, and obviously he just stopped Magdaleno, didn't he? About 10 rounds.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting fight. I'd love that fight. Well, like I say, any of the world champions. But yeah, it's one of them. Like I'll take any fight as long as it's meaningful and relevant for my career. Do you know what I mean? I'll take the big fights as long as the big fights on big shows pushing me towards that world title. I know in boxing it'll come if you work hard enough at something. It'll come, and my job is just to train and win, and that's what I'll do. Do you know what I mean? And then my chance will come, and when it comes, I'm going to take it with both hands this time. Not that I did it first fight. Do you know what I mean? I did everything possibly what I could. Just felt like that bit short. But next time round, believe me, I'm gonna grab that world title.
God willing, my friend, God willing. And the final question I've got for you, really, it's almost 4 weeks ago now. I just don't know where the time's gone, but Tony Bellew managed to do the double over David Haye. Your trainer, Dave Caldwell, he believes that Bellew should probably walk away now. What's your thoughts on that? I know it's kind of a hard and tricky question, but do you believe things can get even better for Bellew, or is this a great time to hang the gloves up?
I'm happy with him either way. Do you know what I mean? If he feels as though there's still big fights there for Tony. Do you know what I mean? Like there's monster fights there, and I know what he's like. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to mention certain, but he does like it. Do you know what I mean? There's still passion there, so it wouldn't surprise me if he had another fight. But if he wants to retire, I mean, there's some way to go out there against David Haye. Do you know what I mean? Like Tony. I mean, I'm not the biggest of fans, as in like I don't follow people. But with Tony, he's one of them fighters like he's up there with most memorable nights of boxing. Probably in my top 10 of all my fights are kids fights. A couple of them are Tony's fights. He's given me a couple of nights what I'll never forget. And I mean, he's one of them like whether he goes out and he's, you know what I mean, with that win against David Haye, or it takes another big fight, you know what I mean, I'll be happy for him. But thinking what it is, I think he might still have another fight in him. Do you know what I mean? I think he might have another one. Because you work all your life to get to this stage where you are now, and then the fight today, you might just think one more. So who knows? You know what I mean? I have spoken to him personally. He's had his fight, and then we've been busy training, and obviously we've been away with my brother. So I've not spoken to Tony. So I don't really. I ain't got no inside information, so to say. Do you know what I mean? But he will. You know what I mean? No doubt, if he has another fight, he'll pull that one out of the bag as well. So I think he's on a roll. Do you know what I mean? The gravy train's still going. Do you know what I mean? And getting better and better. So who's to say? Do you know what I mean? Retire, not retire. While it's going, you know what I mean? The momentum's there, and we might just do another fight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, the world's his oyster at this point. We should also mention that it was 2 years ago today that he picked up the WBC cruiserweight title. So, yeah, extra shout out there to Tony Bellew.
That was one of my nights, one of my favourite ever nights. You know what I mean?
It was brilliant.
In boxing, like honestly, like the emotion and everything that night is up there. Like we are more. You know what I mean? And when I watch it back and whatnot, you know what I mean? It still fills me with pride. Now, I mean, they're the nights what we're in boxing for. And for obviously, I've got my twin brother and my career, but for somebody else, like a friend, you know what I mean, to give you that much satisfaction and drive, you know what I mean, and motivation. You know what I mean? It's a credit to him. You know what I mean? He motivates me daily basis, Tony. Along with our kids, they're my two biggest inspirations in boxing at the minute, fighter wise. And he's one of them. I hope he pulls another big fight out of the bag and he cracks on with another one.
Yeah, best of luck too, Tony. And finally, Gavin, I just want to really give you an opportunity to say anything you like at all before we let you go.
Just thanks for the support for myself and obviously my brother, for those who are behind us, do you know what I mean, and supportive of us. Do you know what I mean? Can't thank you enough for the fans. Do you know what I mean? We're just there to give the fans a good fight, and that's what we'll do. And also all my sponsors, people who back me, help me along the way. Do you know what I mean? Anybody, and especially my wife at home. Do you know what I mean? She's been on way. She's heavily pregnant, my wife, and she's been doing all my tickets and bits and bobs while I've been away. Do you know what I mean? So big shout out to my wife.
Oh, excellent, man! Excellent. Congratulations. I didn't know. Do you know at this stage if it's a boy or girl?
Yeah, it's a little boy, and the names it has been for a while. It's baby Lennox.
Lennox.
Little baby Lennox, and I've been winding the wife up saying his middle name's got to be Lewis because she's got a brother, and her brother's called Lewis. It's got to be Lewis, and she's like, no way. She says, I'll scrap that name now if you're thinking of having Lennox Lewis. And I was like, no, do you know what I mean? Like, but I've been winding her up. I think Sha thinks I want to call him Lennox Lewis, like, so. But yeah, due 28th of August, so a little bit more motivation for me.
Brilliant, my friend. Brilliant. Excellent. But listen, Gavin, thank you so much for your time. As always, it's been my pleasure. Best of luck for June 16th, and we'll catch up sometime after, I'm sure.
Thank you, mate. No problem. Anytime.
Okay, and this wraps up episode 137 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Ayaz Sumra has been Ayaz Sumra. The two guests have been Anthony Yarde and Gavin McDonnell. A big thank you to those two for taking part in this week's show. The prediction league currently stands at myself on 37 points, you, the listeners, on 41 points, and Ayaz has raked it back. He's on 41 points also. Remember to head over to our Twitter page and vote for the Akoli versus Watkins fight and also the Reece Bellotti fight as well. Both polls are now on the Twitter page. I'd like to sincerely thank you all for listening this week. It's always a pleasure. I wish everybody a great weekend, and we hope to see you all back next week.